gentlemen, put your hands together for talent and inspiration personified, Mr. Boman Irani.
Come on, ladies
The
and gentlemen.
actor par excellence on stage.
Make some noise.
Hi everybody, खाना खाया? लेकिन खाने के बाद कॉफी पिया थोड़ा बहुत? Chalo, good. Good to be here. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Give them a big hand. They did a good job. I just want to make sure there may be some people in the auditorium who may not know what I do, or may not. Did they mention my name? It's better, no, that you know. Some people in the audience may not know my name, right? Ye kya hai? Acha. My name is Boman Irani. I just want to make sure, because one must not assume anything. That's my take in life. I was on a flight, and people were milling in early morning. I like to wish everybody in the morning. And there was silence on the flight. And this one guy came along, and he spotted me. He got damn excited. Hey, my favorite actor, my favorite actor. He went on and on. My favoriteest actor in the world. I said, very nice. I felt very good about myself. And then he comes up to me and he bends down low and he says it loudly for the whole plane to hear and said, Bhai sahab, aapka naam kya hai? After that day, I never assume anything, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Boman Irani. I'm an actor, all right? So let's, come on. My wife gives me a better welcome than this. What the hell is this? Come on. Yeah. So, Mr. Juan Pablo, how are you, sir? Good to have you and congratulations. Congratulations, how wonderful. Are we not cheering for? Come on, man. Someone said no? Well, some Frenchman in the auditorium or what? Frenchman? We take care of it, don't worry. But I just want to say, I mean, I'm not Argentine. I'm not even French. But why am I getting a heart attack for you guys? I don't understand. It was so stressful, that game. But God bless you all. God bless you all. I have to say that I don't want to disclose my age and all that, but I watched the 86 final. Do you remember it? You must have been very young then, right? See, he's saying yes, like you're the old man. He's saying, yeah. But I do remember, and I think Jorge Valdano was in the stadium here. I would like to see what Mr. Burushaga looked then, and Jose Luis Brown. Do you remember those guys or not? Of course you do. Yeah, of course you do. So ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for that also. So I'm going to tell you a story. It's going to take 3 hours and 20 minutes. You found that funny. Wow, what a good audience. They found it funny. I'm going to tell you a story. It's my story. It's not about a guy who went up Mount Everest. I mean, I almost did in a movie recently. But it's not about a guy who went up Mount Everest on one kidney or one lung or something like that. It's an everyman story. And this is not the story of an actor from movies. It's a story about a guy who wanted to be in the movies. So I would like to believe that we all have the same story in many ways. The beats are the same. You watch any movie. And always the protagonist or the hero, in my case they never say hero, they always say protagonist or antagonist most of the time, always wants something. And if you don't have a want, you don't have a story. Don't make that movie, right? So let's start. I was born in 1959. Many years before you, JP. I was born in 1959 in the month of December 2nd. Any post-dated gifts are welcome. But my father passed away. In the May of 1959. So I was born posthumously after the death of. And I came into this world like you come like an alien on some planet, surrounded by women. Okay, everybody don't get serious. Suddenly everybody gotten serious. It's a happy ending story, don't worry. I'm still here. And I came into this world surrounded by women and everybody mollycoddling me, taking care of me, and calling me Bichara Boman. Bichara means poor chap, poor fellow. And they were mollycoddling me, protecting me. I became very sensitive, was very shy, but I was very, very protected. And that's not a good thing, to be protected and being in a comfort zone. I also spoke like virus, but with a squeak. So I used to stick my tongue out, long, and I had a squeak, and I had a stutter, and I had a stammer. I used to talk like that. So every time I opened my mouth, people used to laugh. And I said, something's wrong with me. A, they're calling me Bichara Boman. And B, they laugh every time I speak. So I decided not to speak. And I shut up for a long, long time. When I went to St. Mary's School, I was at a school function yesterday. My St. Mary's School principal was there last night, in fact. And the principal, Father Molyneux, tells my mother, Mrs. Irani, I know you want your son to get a good education, and I understand the conditions of the way he was born, but we'll give him admission. Don't worry. So she said, let me give him a test, a small test. He showed me a photograph. He showed me the photograph of a horse. Now, for horse, I would have, had I spoken, said, horse. So I said, I don't open my mouth. And then she said, come on, my mom's pinching me on the bum, I said, come on, speak. No, I said, didn't speak. They showed me another photograph of a mouse. I would have said, mouth. But I didn't answer. Because I thought he'll think I'm stupid if I answer. And I shut up. Guess what? I didn't get admission in St. Mary's School. Everybody's so sad, my God. Don't be sad, guys. I did get eventually. Because Father Molyneux calls up my mother and says, Mrs. Irani, we are educationists. And which child doesn't know what a horse is? Which child doesn't know what a mouse is? He's just a shy little kid. Send him to St. Mary's School. We'll make a man out of him. Yeah. Point. Every little anecdote. I beg your pardon. Every little anecdote that I share with you has a takeaway for me at least. And I hope that takeaway for you works. My point in this whole exercise is give people a chance, don't judge too fast. You may not know what you may have in store and how you nurture people and give them confidence. It did give me confidence. I'm so sorry. Something got stuck in my throat. That's so kind of you, sir. Thank you so much. Oh, vodka, you drink? What are you doing? So, I'm just a sham, you know that, right? Thank you, Hoofish. And I got into St. Mary's School. And I'm over there, looking at the kids being bullied, being tossed around, and not speaking. People ask me things. I never opened my mouth. The problem was that I had learning disabilities. Dyslexia, dyscalculia means I have no idea about numbers. I don't know what I'm doing at a corporate meet like this when I have no idea about numbers. Believe it or not, even today, you give me a number, it's forgotten. My hotel number, room number, forgotten. Many a time I go and knock on the wrong door. It's happened to me many times. Sometimes I knock on purpose on the wrong door, but we can't talk about it here. And my results, my academic world was terrible. I found out one day they put me on a stage. And I felt nice. My lisp kind of disappeared, my squeak disappeared, my stammer disappeared. My mother recognized that. And that's the lesson. We're all parents here, most of us. Yeah, all of you? Come on, let me see some hands. Let's see some energy in the room. Oh my God, that's so overpopulated, yeah. And my mother recognized that, and she realized that I'm inclined to the performing arts, to the movies. And she would send me to the movies every day. We had a theater across my home, literally at that distance. There's a theater over there. I would go to the theater and then come home and then do my homework, if at all I finished my homework. And my mother would ask me, did you watch the movie? What's running? I said, I saw it yesterday. Which one? Pyasa. Go and see it again. Why? Saying, no, you'll see another aspect of cinema. The photography, the poetry, the acting, all that I learned, my academics happened through cinema. And I cannot thank my mother enough for having faith as a widow of and a mother of 3 girls, and then me came along late in life, to have faith in a kid that blossomed where he chose to blossom, not where parents decide that the child will blossom in a particular place. You know, if they had pushed me doing mathematics, I never would be standing here in front of you, right? I mean, this is just something I have to share with parents. Let your kids blossom at what they are good at, not what you want them to be good at. It's a simple thing. I hope you don't mind me telling you that, right? Can I come into the audience? Yeah, can I come into the audience? I feel like I'm too far away. Nobody gave me, can I come or not? Yeah, come on, man, make some noise. Nicer, right? You know? Good, good. I'm selfie ka 5 rupiya. लिया ना? Full length का 10 रुपया. Let's go on. And I used to go, there was a movie called Funny Girl. Not a very funny movie, believe me. It's about a comedian. Hello, sir. It was about a comedian who had a very sad life. It was the debut of the great Barbra Streisand. You know Barbra Streisand, right? And the opening shot of the movie is Barbra Streisand standing in front of the New Amsterdam Theater in New York, and the audience is going into the theater from the entrance, from the main gate, the lobby. But Barbra Streisand comes in her big coat, in her leopard skin coat and that pillbox hat, stood like that, saw the audience going in, understands her responsibility, and then goes this way, goes into an alley like that, goes behind the theater and enters from the artist's entrance. And many years, I used to go to the theater at Strand Cinema by myself as a kid. I don't know how kids were allowed to do that back in the day. And the doorman would ask me, कल भी आया था वहाँ, कल भी देखा पिक्चर, परसों भी देखा पिक्चर वहाँ, कुछ समझ में आता है क्या? मैं बोला नहीं, आता है क्यों? मुझे मालूम नहीं, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है ये पिक्चर. Can you imagine? I kept going to a movie that I didn't understand, but I did. Obviously, it had an impression on me because I wanted to go from the artist's entrance. See, my mother got it right. I wanted to enter from the artist's entrance. That's what attracted me. And that whole thing, no matter what mood you're in, when you get onto the stage, nobody cares about your mood. Right? When we get to work, nobody cares about what's happening in your house. Right? They want results. And you've always got to be upbeat. Right? I learned so much from that movie. I tried cracking this joke, and it doesn't work always, but let me try. You'll help me with this one? Right? It's a 2-part joke. Let's see how it works, okay? Free selfie lady, you'll laugh, right? Yeah. Yeah, please. Nobody normally laughs actually at this joke because it takes time to come. First, I passed 10 standard. See, they got it late. I told you they'll get it late. Nobody's cheering. I passed, guys. Yeah. And the second part of the joke. If you don't laugh, you don't laugh. It's okay, I can't force you. I passed with a high 3rd class. Yeah. But in my heart, I was like Barbra Streisand. And I did not know what to do with myself. There was no real theater culture back home then. But I used to go and watch all the plays, and I decided to be a waiter. I said, everybody is either a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you know, but I want to be a waiter. I don't know why. I went to my granny, and I told her I want to be a waiter. She said, in her broken English, broken Gujarati, saying, whatever you do, you want to be anything. There is pride in whatever you do. And it stayed with me for the rest of my life. But be the best damn waiter in the world, or don't even try. And it stuck with me. This is a lady who's a refugee. I realize now, when you hear about my granny and my grandfather were refugees. They came from Iran. On a donkey across the desert, stayed in a tent. She delivered my dad's older brother in a tent and came on an Arab dhow and sailed to Mumbai. And my chacha was dying. And she says, the newborn, what do I do with him? He's dying. She's telling my grandpa, he's dying. What do I do? What do I bury him at sea? These are my grandparents. This is not a story from the Bible, okay? Now, why am I telling you this story? Why am I telling you this story? There is a big reason. I'm telling you this story because all of you are so successful, right? And you'll be even more successful. And you'll keep growing in life. But you must never forget where you came from. People ask me when I get out, how was the flight? Yeah, it was great. What happened? You heard some news? Was there turbulence? I don't know about. How was the flight? Was it comfort? It's the same seat I came last time in. It's the same size. It was very comfortable. How's your hotel room? It's a bloody suite. What's wrong with our lives? The problem is that as we go up the ladder, I sometimes, and I'm preaching again, we tend to make the perks of the job more important than the job itself. That's all I'm saying, okay? Thanks. Anyway, my granny story, right? So I joined. My take is, you reach for the stars, you land on the treetops. Okay? So I said, go for the best hotel in the country, maybe the world, the Taj Mahal. Sorry, Hyatt, don't feel offended. Guys, रात को कुछ भलता खाना दे देंगे मेरे को बोला Taj Mahal Palace, Mumbai, the greatest hotel in the country, correct? So I go over there for an interview, wear a bow tie and everything. And there's this Parsi chap. Everybody here knows who a Parsi is? I hope so, okay? I'm very offended otherwise. Yeah? I go there, his name is Sam Bhada. Khadus. Khadus means tough as nails. Why? Okay. Okay, which department do you want to join? Maybe style mein bola. Nice, deep voice. Food and beverage. Say, you bloody idiot. Damn fool. I said, what happened, sir? The hotel business is about food and beverage only. Which department do you want to join? I maintained my composure. I said, the Rendezvous. Oh, the French restaurant. Sorry, French. The French restaurant. The Mbappe kind. I said, yes. Wow, the most expensive restaurant in the country. On the menu, there were no prices. The host got the price wala, baki wala jo mangta hai, lobster mangao, wo mangao, kuch bhi hai. I said, you want to join that? The rooftop, the hotel was on the rooftop. I said, yes, sir. You've done your homework. He said, son. I said, yes, Mr. Sam Bhada. Remember the name, okay? Sam Bhada, you'll remember, sir? For me, because memory, dyslexia. So he says, son, I'll tell you what, very proud of you. So thank you, sir. At least you want something. It stuck with me. You have to want something in life, otherwise there's no point. He said, great, but go to the basement, you idiot. I said, why? He says, because you think you can get a free pass and go straight up to the rooftop. And it's so symbolic. Go to the basement, start in room service, work your way up, pay your dues. And that's one lesson I have never forgotten, no matter what I do in my life, guys. I'll sound a little preachy sometimes, and it's okay. It's okay, na? The lady is nodding here, not come. I started, and I worked at the Taj Mahal Hotel, and the tea used to be 9 rupees. When chai at the Irani restaurant used to be for 25 paisa. They're still ripping us off, these 5-star hotels. Anyway, no problem. Hey, Hayat, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ यार तुम लोग. And so there was that folder. हम लोग तो उडुपी रेस्टोरेंट में वाटी में आता था ना बिल, हम तो फोल्डर में बिल दे रहे. मेरे कमाल है. I think I'm fantastic, And he put 5 rupees. I said, sir, that's 9 rupees. He said, no, that's for you. For me? Like Bill Gates may have said in his time, I made my first million when I was 21. I made my first $5, ladies and gentlemen. I called up our mom and said, Mommy, I made my first $5. Bichara Boman has made his first $5. Wonderful. And I used to put all that five rupees into a piggy bank. And I used to collect the money. One fine day, I managed to get to the Rendezvous. It took me 2 years. I managed to get to the Rendezvous Restaurant. I became a French waiter. I used to talk out. Pehle se hi actor hi tha na. So what would you like? Le Rendezvous de Fouille de Mer, la crème de basilic, pistil de zafran, Mr. Indrajit. French, sorry about that French. Nice choice. Very lovely. Yeah. बहुत फेंकता था मैं. Acting में कमाल का acting करता था hotel में भी. And I started doing pretty well for my. Sam Bhada is thrilled with me. He thinks I'm his protege. My mother calls me and says she's met with an accident. I said, where are you? So I'm at home. I went home. She had an accident and she had to take bed rest for a couple of months and you have to give up your job. You'll have to go and sit at the shop. We were shopkeepers. The shop was a little wider than those stairs. No, that's too wide. And, 15 feet deep. And we used to sell wafers, potato wafers, chips. We used to buy the potatoes, wash them, slice them, and fry them in a big kadai. The kadai was the size of this, stronger together. Yeah, I love this slogan. Yeah, I love it. And we used to fry it in a big kadai, so much ghee and the bubbling ghee and all the ghee used to come. The hot oil used to land and burn burn me and have all those white spots all over me. But my wife thought it was very sexy. She used to come to buy wafers every day. Every day. Her father would say, what are you buying wafers every day for? And she used to buy the wafers and say, you're eating 100 grams of wafers every day? So she had to go and give it to the beggar at the end of the street. By the time we got married, there was a very fat beggar at the end of the street. But I got married at the age of 25, believe it or not. I got married at the age of 25 and before I turned 26, I became a dad. So why are you calculating, sir? आपने आप हिसाब किताब किया, sir. आपका नाम क्या, sir? अरे हर्ष भूटानी साहब कैसे हैं आप, sir? आप क्यों हंसे, sir? They're legal Parsi children. Legal. All right. Everybody knows who a Parsi is, right? Name some famous Parsis, please. Don't say Boman Irani, huh? Vijay Irani कौन है? J.J. Irani. Who? Honey Irani. That's good. Jamshedji Tata, Ratan Tata, J.R.D. Tata, Godrej's, Soli Swarabji, Shaparji Palanji. Yeah, what dudes, man. And guess what? You won't believe this. JP Irani nahi, J.J. Irani. JP साहब तो यहाँ पे बैठे. Cyrus bichara, Cyrus Mistry. Very sad. But in the world, so many famous names. Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. All Parsis. All Parsis. Prince Charles. Parsi. नहीं? पारसी नहीं है वो लोग. मेरे को बोला पारसी है लोग. उनका नाक देखो ना, शामक दावर जैसा ही है, same. लंबा नाक. क्या? I think they're Parsis only. Queen भी तो पारसी थी क्या? किसको तुम लोग बुल्लू बना रहे हो? But basically, we are only 67,000 Parsis left in the world. Can you imagine? And still, there are so many great names that we can be proud of as a country. Don't you think? Don't you think? But the numbers are dwindling. The numbers are dwindling. And it's a cause for concern. So all the buzurgs, the older priests and whatnot come to me and they say, "Arey Baman, kuch karo?" Sir, मैं क्या करूं? मैं तो दादा बन गया अभी, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता. I said, no, you know what I'm saying. I said, advice? What do you mean advice? You mean you want me to go on the honeymoon and supervise to make more children? I can't do that. What the hell? Yeah, at least everybody's looking at the bosses. Shall we laugh loudly at these stupid jokes or not? Just laugh, man. Enjoy yourself, guys. Come on, man. Haji? Selfie lady's laughing. All right. I won't charge today. No problem. Full length का अगर लिया तो मैं 7 रुपया लेगा उसका. हाँ जी, discount 3 rupees. So the point is, what am I saying? I'm just cracking some Parsi jokes here. What am I doing? 67,000 Parsis left in the world, but we've got to keep the legacy going. Like you guys, stronger together. Only then can you keep the legacy going. Am I right or wrong? Hai na? Yeah. all these conservationists, they go on and on about the tiger. So many tigers, so many live. Arey marne do tiger ko. Save the Parsi. We need more Parsis. What do you say, guys? Anyway, life was great. I had 2 kids, but I'd settled down and I had got into a comfort zone. You know why? Because of this fallacy. People started calling Bichara Boman Seth. Problem. Red flag. Boman Seth. I thought I was a boss. But that's just bull. For 7 years of marriage, I had not taken my family out for a holiday. I couldn't afford it, and I didn't have the time. And I said, I got to do something for my family. So I broke the piggy bank, which I made money, tips, and I bought myself a camera. My first step towards my want, step by step, photography. And I bought a very basic camera, and I started taking photographs of sporting events. Nobody was going to give me accreditation. So I started going to school events and shooting kids and sport, long jump, high jump, road race, cycle race, judo, karate, football, hockey, cricket, whatever. And I started becoming a very good sports photographer. And I made some money selling those pictures at 25 rupees, 22 rupees, sometimes with discount, sometimes free. And I booked a holiday on the old phone, 3-number ka phone, 128 or whatever. PP, no PP, urgent, lightning, super. You're not that young also. You remember this, yaar. Ye kya bol raha hai? And we went to Uti. You're telling him. He's asking, kya bol raha hai? Trunk call. Trunk call, Baba, trunk call. Haji? Still you know. That's why you got discount. Went to Uti by train, ST bus, rickshaw, 4 of us with bags on top of us. We got down and we stopped at this hotel. I had done a booking over the trunk call. The name of the hotel was Shawham Palace. Sounded good. We got down and it was like a shot from a poster of a movie. 4 of us holding hands with our bags facing the hotel. It was a shot from a Ramsay Brothers horror film. That hotel, looked like, there were those ullus flying around, the turrets. You know what I'm saying? That kind of. And my wife is looking at me, my wife, and when she's upset, she doesn't say anything. She just makes expressions. But I'm a quick-thinking actor, right? So I said, no, darling, it's a heritage property. Bahar se kuch kar nahi sakta, andar aao. So we went inside. It was even bloody worse, much worse. We went inside. And those doors, those big doors with the tea curries and the louvers. Tell him, he doesn't know that. And you're younger, still you're telling him, good. She keeps reminding me she's young. Oh, that's why Bombay guys are smarter, yeah, correct. So the tea curry, that guy started playing. The sound effects were also like Ramsay horror film. The door opened and the room was dark, pitch dark, right? I said, Bhai Sahab, light? Yeah. He turned on the light. One light came on. But it was still pitch dark. There was no light in the room. You know why? It was a 0-watt bulb. 0-watt, I swear to God, it was 0-watt and you can't see anything. I'm saying, Baba, tu kahan chahe, darling? Okay, yeah. That was it. That was the hotel. And I started crying. Shawham Palace? No, baby. Do your homework. Cross your T's and dot your I's. That's the lesson I learned. And I had not planned well. I'm not saying take your family to the presidential suite. But the basics you got to get right. And I started crying. And I looked towards that light. And I said, that's me. 0. And I said, up your game. Reach for the stars, you'll fall in the treetops. And I said, enough of these school events and selling mommy's photograph for 22, 25 rupees with discounts, you know. Let's get the game going up. So I said, what's the biggest sporting event in the country? Cricket was the big thing. There was no way I was going to get close to that. So I said, let me go. The World Cup of boxing was coming to India. The World Cup of boxing. And I said, that's where I want to go. Again, I'm reminding you about a word, a very important word that the protagonist must have. And that word is, I want. Because if you don't want, you have no journey. We want. It's 2023 coming up. We want. So I wanted to be the official photographer of the World Cup. So I went and met another Parsi Babaji, Aspi Dajania, another Khadus, hard as nail. He also talking like, what? I said, I want to be the official. Oh no, we don't need a photographer. I said, just give me a badge, sir. I'll just take photographs. I'll sell the photographs. He said, oh. So I started to go. Hey, come here. Yes, sir. You're that wafer wala? I said, bloody racist statement to make. I didn't say that. What's so racist? I'm a wafer wala, big deal here. I know why people get offended all the time nowadays. You're a wafer wala. Kaun si badi baat hai? So he said, I thought he'll take some interest. Then he asked me the weirdest question. And he said, you buy your own potatoes? I said, what? Where do you buy your potatoes from? I said, from the onion and potato market, New Bombay. Acha, what do you know about potatoes? I said, this conversation is getting weird, right? What do you know about potatoes? I said, I know everything about potatoes. He said, tell me, for example. I said, I can pick up a potato, I can stick my thumb into it, and I can tell you which region it comes from the mitti. I can tell you whether it's Metupalayam, whether it's a Talegaon, whether it's a Nashik, whether it's whatever. He said, that's fantastic. You know everything about potatoes. I said, I'm very good. I can tell you after how many days you should fry them to get the best results. Wow, you're good. I said, yeah. I said, what's it got to do with boxing? But he said, oh, what do you know about onions? I want to tell him there's no such thing as onion wafers. What do you know about onions? It's in the same market. I said, yeah, we get onions and potatoes from the same mandi. He said, what do you know? I said, nothing. He says, excuse me, young man. You come into my office and you want to be, you're a good photographer. I saw your portfolio, you're very good. But you walk into my office and you've not got one single photograph of boxing. And you want to be the official photographer for Boxing World Cup? That's cheeky of you. You get that? And it hit me so hard. No matter which department you're working in. You could work for Coca-Cola for 40 years for all I care. But when you change a department, remember, you will always start from scratch. There's a lovely English phrase, know your onions. Strange that we were speaking about onions that particular day. No matter what I do in the film business, I can act for 20 years, but every role will be a different role. You've got to start from scratch. I'm debuting as a director at the age of 63. I know nothing about direction, so I have started from scratch. I've written a film. I have no idea about writing, but it took me 7 years of tuitions to learn how to write a script. Why? Because Aspi Dajania said, you know nothing about onions. And that's the lesson that stuck with me. I said, this old fella knows what he's talking about. And guess what? I say, tell me, where is the boxing tournament happening in Bombay? He said, there's one at the University Stadium. I go there with my little camera. My camera I had nicknamed Alfred. I should talk to Alfred, my companion. And I went over there, and it was the worst boxing you can see in the world. Thin, knobbly guys. I said, what the hell, man? This place was a shed. It was a shed with one lamp on top and one ring, and the worst kind of boxing. I said, how am I going to take world-class photographs over here? I said, I'm doomed. And maybe Alfred told me, no, you're not. You got a simple camera, and you must want something. Do you want to take good pictures, or you don't want to take pictures? Or are you going to go and complain about your lot? I come from a small town. My father is not a big shot. I don't know, my communication skills aren't great. He speaks, he's got friend circle. These are all complaints of our resources. And the moment we start complaining about our resources, get the hell out of there. Please don't say that he's way more connected and they have a club and they come from that school where all the school friends get together and they get a lot of business. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And I said, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to watch that boxing, I'm going to observe, I'm going to know my onions, and I'm going to take some good photographs. I want good photographs. And I would go every day and watch. And I started taking pictures from this angle, that angle. I'd go up on the tarafa, take top shots, and all the sports photographers would come and sit over there, take one shot, go home. You know why they went home? They were comfortable. Whatever picture they put was going to be printed in the morning paper. Whatever picture they took. I did not have that option. And I'm taking for 7 days, I'm not good with numbers, 7 to 9 days. I got 6 or 7 pictures. I made nice portfolio, and I went to Aspeda Jane, and I gave him the envelope. I gave him the envelope. He took the envelope. In the movies, everything should be what you least expect. That's a good story. Whatever people expect, don't give them that. That's good screenwriting. He takes the envelope, big one, puts it in the door and shoots it, shuts it. That's a rude so-and-so. And then he takes out a small envelope and he hands it to me. I open the envelope and I read, you have been appointed official photographer of the World Cup. You know what? I asked him the silliest question of all. I said, sir, but you haven't even seen the photographs. Guess what he said? I didn't have to. I knew you would come back with good pictures. I just wanted to say how badly you wanted the job. That's all it takes. When I talk to sales teams, I said, you know, I'm not talking about Coca-Cola, okay? I'm talking about other products, okay? But when I talk to sales teams, I said, there's a product, and there'll be another product that will be slightly better, slightly worse. Price-wise, slightly better, slightly worse. And the customer has to make a choice. And sometimes they're making a choice based on the guy who's selling the stuff to them. And if he's not hungry and he doesn't give a shit, why should he back your product? That's what I tell. Coca-Cola is another story altogether, right? But again, there's a danger to be comfortable. I got the job. He introduced me to the Norwegian coach. And the Norwegian coach wanted 3 pictures of the only sponsored boxer called Ole Klemetsen. And he said, oh, great. I need this picture, and this picture. And I want him knocking out the other guy and, you know, him standing over the other guy and raising his hands in the air. Will you do that? I said, yeah, sure. How much will you charge? I'm not a good businessman. Right? Who frisch? Gunjan? I'm not a good businessman, right? I say, yeah. And everyone's... Everyone knows Gunjan over here. Come on, give him a big hand. And Hufi, wave out, man. Come on. So I did not know how to put a price. Like, see, I'm selling my pictures at 7 rupees at a discount to you, right? I didn't know how to put a price. So how much will you charge? Well, मैं क्या बोलूं? मेरे को मालूम नहीं. So I think I gave him the best answer that I've ever given in a business transaction. So he said, so how much will you charge? I said, international rates. So I'm saying, and there's an honesty in the answer. तो जो किसी और को देता है वो मेरे को दो. Fair enough? Anyway, comes the day of the fight. Comes the day of the World Cup. I'm sitting there and with beautiful lights, beautiful backgrounds, colorful boxing ring. And I'm sitting there with Alfred. Excited. And come the other photographers. Oh man, those jackets and those big stuff and they're testing stuff and मैं बेचारा lollipop की तरह में खड़ा हूँ Alfred के साथ. And I'm saying to myself, अरे मैं तो हार गया. No, तू हार नहीं गया. Alfred brought you till here. Whatever the resource you have, you can equate Alfred with whatever you have in your life. whoever your Alfred is, brought you till here, he's going to see you through if you have faith in your own ability. Alfred is your own ability, right? You get what I'm saying, no, right? And all these guys came along, and then comes the Norwegian boxer and the German boxer. And I heard, and I remember these numbers right, that you can get from $60 to $100 per photograph. I said, what? Meri to chandi ho gayi. I'm still selling to you at $7, huh? And I was so happy. But when the match started, this is what happened. I could see my $300 flying away like that. You know why? Because the German was kicking the shit out of the Norwegian guy. Talk, 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 talk. I said, hey, nay, nay, hurry, come on, Norway, hit him back, hit him back. He was not listening. He was getting his ass whooped, right? And I'm saying, this can't be. This can't be. You can't bring me so far. I need to make some money, man. I need to make some money. Please, Norway, come on, Norway, come on, Norway. They're not listening. And then Amitabh Bachchan yaad aa gaya. Amar Akbar Anthony. Bhai, ek mara lekin solid mara. You remember the dialogue, right? Ek mara lekin solid. Suppose he gives him one. I said, forget about it. Look inside Alfred. Your soul. Focus. All right? And if he gives him one, don't be concentrating on the money. And don't be concentrating on anybody else around you. Because you won't be prepared. Because it's like an elevator pitch, a photograph. It just comes and it'll go. And there I was waiting. And he gave him one. The guy, before you could say Jack Robinson, was on the floor, and I took 3 pictures with my winding thumb. I got 3 pictures and I sent them to Norway with great difficulty. This is not the time of email, huh? Radio photo se jata tha. It was called radio photo. A big saga there, I won't get into that. And I got a call from Norway. Lambi Gandhi. Sir, explain to him now what Lambi Gandhi. This, you know, kya, sir. And I got a call. Hello, Mr. Irani? I said, yeah. My name is Tri Gasandabo. I said, yes, miss. I'm from Vigi magazine. Vigi. Sir, do you remember Vigi? I forget. I've got dyslexia. Vigi. Yaad rakhna. Vigi. Vigi magazine. Huh? The photographs have finally arrived. I said, oh, thank God. And they are fantastic. Great. We didn't think about the money. We delivered on time, and we delivered a good product. Right. Now comes the small matter of your payment. I says, now it's the only matter, baby. So I said, so how much will you charge? I said, I told him, sir, it is, what's it called? International rates. He said, okay, let me just come back. Let me come back. And he comes back and says, I'm thinking in my head, 3 pictures 180 or 3 pictures 300. Yeah, whatever, I'm okay. So for 3 pictures, we give you $300. Whoa, man. So I started doing the samba on the phone. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. My wife is looking at me, yeah, baby. So go to the manager and collect your $900. Huh? Mr. Irani? Huh? Mr. Irani, huh? What? You're not happy? Yes, I'm very happy, sir. Collect your 900. And I got paid 3 times the amount. And that's my belief system. One must have a belief system. If your integrity is in place, and you really work hard without thinking about your name in the papers. When I'm acting, if I think about the reviews, I'm not with my character. And that's exactly what happened. Your reward will be 3 times as more, right? This is my belief system. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. Now, 1 week later, we get a check of $900. I tell Zenobia, my wife, I said, please don't deposit the check. We've been already paid. We've got the money. We've got the check. And they said, let me see it. And then the check said, $900 for reprinting your photographs. Can you imagine? Back in the day, there is no email, there are no websites, there is nothing. They printed my photographs one more time, and because they did that, they sent me $900 without even knowing who this guy is. Who's this dude, man? But he has to be paid, because those are ethics, and you must never muck around with ethics. Never muck around with ethics. Well, 2 weeks later, the Vigi sends me another. You remember, no, Vigi, I told you? Vigi, yeah, they send me another $900. And another $900. Another, le lena, photo le lena, discount mein chal raha hai. Another $900. And they kept sending me money. Why? Because that's their code of ethics. Nothing else matters, my friends. Right? I got himmat. I started a studio. Why? Because I'm making a lot of money now. And I am now a money-making machine. I went to the studio, and then what happened? There was a pandemic, and then there was a lockdown. And I'm talking about 32 years ago. Do you know about this lockdown, this pandemic? Does anybody remember? Sir, you remember? No. No. Tell him, na. Even you don't know. She wasn't around. Look, she's showing off. Even I was not around. What the hell, man? Of course. Well, it was a personal pandemic. It's a personal lockdown. Where in life, there will be times you'll not know what to do with yourself. The world was locked down this time, but that was a lockdown which was personal. No business for 2 years. Very little, just about 3 or 4 jobs. And I'm sitting over there and I'm saying, what do I do in this lockdown? Do I cry? Do I roll over and die? Let me think. Let me sharpen my tools. And I said again, like what Aspi said, what Sam Bhara said from Taj Mahal. You got to pay your dues, man. Just because you've decided to be an advertising photographer, it doesn't mean you know how to do this job well. Practice. Use that time. And I would take a mug of coffee and put it on the table and put all kinds of lighting and practice. Because the day the pandemic lifts, you won't have time to practice. You'll only have time to deliver. So you've got to sharpen those tools or sharpen those arrows and put them in your quiver, right? Shamak Davar walks into my office one day. By the way, Pradeep Guha, I don't know, sir, please don't be offended, but has anybody ever told you, you remind me of, you look a lot like Pradeep Guha. You know Pradeep Guha I'm talking about? No, anyway. Pradeep Guha calls Times of India. And he says, I wanted to shoot Miss India. What? How did you know? People come to know. How did you know? And I started shooting. Diana Hayden went on to Miss World, and next thing I'm Mr. India. Everybody wants to take pictures with me. These things happen, you know, these things happen. Shamak Davar walks into my, hi darling. Shamak walks. You know Shamak Davar? Hi darling, you're so beautiful. What a lovely office. My God, you're going to be very famous one day. I said, who the hell told you and what am I going to be famous about? He's saying, I don't know, but you'll be very famous. Really? He disappeared after that. When I was in my own personal pandemic, I didn't have money to buy a rice plate. I didn't have money to put petrol into my little scooter. When the petrol used to run out, I used to get out the scooter and drag the scooter home. And people would say, Bhai sahab, petrol pump udhar hai. Now what do I tell him? I don't have money to buy petrol. Saying, nahi, petrol bahut hai. Carburetor mein kachra hai. My wife accosted me one day and said, Boman, you've stopped smiling. I tell you, never let that happen in your life. You've stopped smiling. Saying, what happened? No, just go and pay off the debt. I'd taken a personal loan. A personal loan, not a very smart thing to do. I told you I was a bad businessman. You could have squeezed me more anyway. And I'm paying interest upon interest. So she goes to the cupboard and she takes out her wedding jewelry. I'm not ashamed to say it. She comes and puts the jewelry and says, sell it and pay off the interest at least. I said, don't do this, don't make me cry. She's saying, no. And she said something that completely blew my mind. She said, you think by wearing this jewelry, I'm going to look pretty? You're wrong. Sell it, chase your dreams, right? Smile again, right? You smile, and when you smile, I'll smile. And when I smile, I might look pretty, you know. And I said, it takes an act of courage sometimes. Even Salim Javed cannot write such beautiful dialogues. I tell you, it was so beautifully put. And things changed. Sometimes an act of courage gives you the impetus. You got to take that chance. And things started moving miraculously. Shamak Dawar comes to my office after 6 months again. I'm taking you for lunch. I said, free lunch, let's go. And he takes me instead, doesn't take me for lunch, takes me to make Alec Padamsi. I said, why are you bringing me here? I want you to audition. I said, no, I'm not an actor. He's saying, don't lie. Every pore in your body says you're an actor. You don't have to say it. That's what you want to do. I know it. He is a little psychic. Psychic, not psycho. No. And he takes me to Alec Padamsi. And I audition. And he says, you have to do it. You know you're an actor and that's what you want to do. And I auditioned. And I got my first role, ladies and gentlemen, in theater. Now let me tell you what the role is. And I demand a response for that. Because it can be embarrassing. Please don't be. The first role I ever got, ladies and gentlemen, was that of a pimp. Yay! Fresh clap, don't worry. Be proud. Be proud of what you do. And it was a 3-minute role. It was a 3-minute role. And I said to myself, Laurence Olivier said, there are no small parts, there are only small actors. I said, chalo. And I practiced and practiced and practiced. And Bruce Lee, you remember Bruce Lee? I'm not good with quotations, but he said something that I stick with. He says, I do not fear the fighter who has 1,000 kicks. I fear the fighter who has 1 kick, but he practices it 1,000 times. I said, wow. And I rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. And I have to go up on stage for this one. And there I was. I came onto the stage for my act in a play called Roshni, which Alec Padamsi directed. And I did my thing. And it was like it was at someone's funeral. It was the worst play in the world. The worst play in the world. And I said, now what do I do? Do I come in with that energy? No. No, I've worked very hard for this elevator pitch. And it's about lifting the audience for this play. And I come out and I do my thing and the audience starts clapping. And the audience starts whistling. And the audience starts cheering. And I said, man, I'm standing there and I'm looking, I'm absorbing it. Arshad Varsi was the choreographer. Okay? And before he became an actor, that is, long ago. And he said, Boman Bhara. I said, nahi yaar, taliyan baja rahe hain. And that day something very big happened. You know what happened? Very important. I went in from the artist's entrance and came on stage. One of my wants was complete. Right? I love the wooden stage, I love the lights, I love the sound, and I love my audience. All right? And it was so beautiful. My mother was so proud. Parsi mom. Parsi mom means she can say what she wants and get away. You like my son? She would go in the interval. How was my son? Are, who is your son? Are, the pimp. He's my son. So proud. The next play I got was a play. Now, thoda hi baki hai, don't worry. Was a play called I'm Not Baji Rao. It was about 2 old men, 75-year-old men, who sit on a park bench. They don't move their asses off that bench for 2 hours and they only talk about old age. Right? It's an experimental play. 3 dates only. 3 shows for an audience of 150 people. Right? I said, yeah, okay, itna rehearse kiya. 3 hi show karenge. So somebody said, oh, sorry. Somebody said, no, don't release it in the experimental theater. Release it in the big Tata theater, 1,200-seater. I said, nobody's going to come to watch this play about an old man talking about their glaucoma and their cataract and their knees and their sex life. Can you imagine 75 men talking about it? They really used to discuss their sex life and people used to laugh. But we opened it at the Tata theater, 1,200-seater. For some reason, these 2 new guys on stage were playing 2 old men. No glamour, nothing, right? House full. Why? Don't ask me. I'll tell you. This is my theory. When you have a good product, people smell it miles away. And they come. They come, huh? And I tell this to actors. If you're good, and Al Pacino said this, they'll come looking for you in Siberia, but they'll come. And we did the show. We didn't do 3 shows. Sorry. We did only shows for 10 years. House full. For a play that was meant to be 3 shows for 150 people alone. But it ran for 10 houseful years. Can you imagine? Can you imagine why? Nothing's too small, man. Nothing is too small in this world. And then Feroz Khan of the theater calls me and said, Feroz Khan of the theater, not cowboy Feroz Khan from the movies, huh? He calls and says, Boman, I would like you to play Gandhi. I banged on the phone. I thought it was a crank call. I said, yeah. He said, do you know how tall I am and my size? He's saying, go to a dietitian. I said, okay. But I want you to play Gandhi. I said, okay. He said, no, you lose 30 kilos. As if to say, you just put it into your some machine and ho gaya kaam. Aise nahi hota hai. So I went to Sudhir Joshi, my friend, doyen of Marathi theatre, who passed away, of course. I went to him, Sudhir Dada, I'm getting to play this Gandhi. Do it. I said, okay. You must do it, Boman. I said, okay. Do it. Which Gandhi? Mahatma Gandhi? Tu pagal ho gaya? I thought Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Frontier Gandhi. You look same to same, copy to copy, he's telling. And he's right. I look like Frontier Gandhi. Saying, you want to play Gandhi? Then he said something that I've never forgotten. He said, remember, do it. I was joking. Yeah? You'll walk like him, you'll talk like him. My ribs used to show, believe it or not. You'll walk like him, you'll talk like him, you'll speak like him. Your gestures will be like him. Your teeth will be broken. You'll speak like him. But that's not it. It's about a belief system. If you don't believe that you're Gandhi, they are not going to believe either. And that's the tenet of my life. If you don't believe, they don't believe. In whatever you do, whatever you're selling, remember, I'm selling. I'm lying. I am Gandhi. You got to be truthful about those lies. You understand? And I played Gandhi all over the world. I lost 30 kilos. And suddenly, the next gentleman who walks into my life is a gentleman called Ram Madhwani. And he said, Boman, I want to make a movie with you. I said, kaching, paise ka time aa gaya. He said, I want to make an experimental movie. I said, mere bhi nasib mein experimentally aata hai sala. He said, I want to make a movie. I want to shoot in 8 days. We'll shoot on a handy cam. You know, those 22, 23 years ago, those which uncles who come from London and New York, they come and take shots of the starters and the lights and the chandelier. You know what I'm talking about, right? That camera to shoot a feature film. And he says, but you got to write it with me. And we have to rehearse it for 8 months. Every day we'll do those scenes, 1 take. 8 scenes, 8 days. Done. And we shot that movie in 8 days. I asked Ram, when are we going to release the film? He said, we're never going to release the film. Who told you we're going to release the film? I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, no, this movie is for you, for me, for our friends, for our family. And to ease the passing of time, I said, shut up, I'm not an old man. What are you talking about? He's saying, yeah. I was pulling his leg, of course. Nobody saw that movie. It was called Let's Talk. Have you even heard of this movie? No. But we spent 8 months of rehearsal on something that was never meant to be released. We did have a premiere, guys, in Ram's house. 11 of us watched it. We gave it a standing ovation. We wrote our own reviews because we believed in the movie. But what was happening while the movie was being edited? In the edit room, there was a big Hindi movie producer who was watching his blockbuster being edited. And on the next monitor was this little film. यार ये कौन है यार ये कौन सी पिक्चर है यार बहुत गंदी पिक्चर लग रही है ये एक्टर कौन है बमन ईरानी पारसी है हाँ भेजो मैं हिंदी आती है क्या उसको मालूम नहीं I go to his house, he gives me dinner and he gives me a check of 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakhs. I said, किस चीज़ के लिए? मेरी अगली कहानी के लिए है. I said, आपकी अगली कहानी क्या है? मेरे पास कहानी ही नहीं है. I said, these filmy people are weird. What's the matter with this guy? He's saying, kya baat kar rahe ho? He's saying, हाँ. He says, I'm giving you this check because believe me, the day you start doing Hindi movies, he was actually giving me a wonderful compliment which I accept with humility. He said, the day you start doing Hindi movies, you will not give me dates. You'll be booked. I said, yeah. Faith. Anyway, he disappeared for 6 months. And then he calls me up one day. Are yara, कहानी मिल गई यारा, कहानी मिल गई. Said, oh, कहानी मिल गई. कहानी का नाम क्या है? He said, Munna Bhai MBBS. And I'm saying to myself, what a shitty name, first of all, right? And I'm saying, कहानी क्या है? अरे यारा, एक गुंडा है. एक गुंडा है, वो डॉक्टर बनना चाहता है. I said, what a shitty story. And then he said, अरे यार, I said, मेरा रोल क्या है? यारा, तू एक डॉक्टर है और तू पूरे पिक्चर में हंसते ही रहेगा. What a shitty role. I'm saying, what kind of a weird movie is this? Saying, I am not explaining it well on the phone. Go and meet my assistant. I said, I have to go and meet your assistant. You're not making it. मन में बोल रहा हूँ मैं थोड़ी इतना aggressively बात कर रहा हूँ. He's saying, Raju. I said, now I've got to go and meet some Raju. तो मैं गया, Raju, पतला, दुबला, hello, how are you, sir? I said, he's pulling his shirt up. I had no confidence. Sat down. He told me the story. It's the most unbelievable story. Exactly a story of a gunda who wants to be a doctor because he did not want his father to take out his pagadi ever again. Somebody wanted something. And I'll tell you, our wants should never be too small. Have you seen the movie Ratatouille? Yeah? What's the story? Can you imagine a rat in your kitchen? What would you do it? You'll poison it, you'll kill it. Or if you're a vegetarian, you'll chase it. You might chase it away, right? But otherwise, you either poison it or you put a rat trap for it, right? But that rat did not just want to get into a kitchen. He wanted to be the world's greatest chef. Our stories should be ratatouille stories because the higher and greater your want, the greater the story. But the higher and the greater your want, the greater the obstacles. It's as simple as that. Munna Bhai was like that. Obstacle after obstacle. Nobody wanted to touch this film. Nobody wanted to finance this film. We're all going to be paid later on, except for the 2 lakhs that I got earlier, which I had not checked, in cash. And we made it in a record time, in a record budget. People think blockbusters are made in a most glamorous way. For the last scene of the film was a Shadi ka mandap. Now we didn't have lakhs of rupees to put up a Shadi ka mandap. So he's like, nahi sir, itna to lagega, the decorator saying, nahi, itna to lagega, nahi. एक काम करो ना आप किसी की शादी में गेट क्रैश करो. Vinod Chopra, the guy who was doing a little, अरे what a wonderful idea यार. And we gate crashed someone's wedding. Believe it or not, we were sitting behind the flower decoration in the night. Sunil Dutt Saab, Sanjay Dutt, cameraman, director, Arshad. While there's a wedding going on. And when all the guests went home, we jumped onto the stage, we shot these pictures, and we ran. That's how one of India's most beloved films was shot. Nobody wanted to distribute it. Because why? Ratatouille stories are always the more difficult to sell because people are used to things, and that's a dangerous place to be. Anyway, the movie released, and many people don't believe me when I say this, but the opening was a flop. Nobody went to see the movie. In the single screen theaters, 50%. Back in the day, no matter how big the flop, opening Friday would be full. But this was 50%. Sanju hadn't had a hit in 8 years. Arshad hadn't had a hit in 10 years. This guy had never done a movie before. Gracie Singh was our biggest actor, biggest star. Can you believe? And I would go to the Maratha Mandir, I would go pull down the shutter of my shop after, and I'm watching this movie, and the public, the small public, 50%, watching, laughing, crying, and I'm saying, what a beautiful movie, Boman. No, man, it will pick up, it will pick up. I come out of the theater, I'm standing by the scooter over there, and I heard a voice. Ye Mamu. So God is talking to me. Mamu, niche dekh. There was a lady sitting on the footpath, very rough-looking lady. She put some money in over here like this. Mamu, and she gave me the best compliment I've ever heard. At least she said it with so much love. She said, Mamu, kya acting kiya tune yaar? I was so happy. I was so thrilled. I can't tell you. I'm saying, my God. And then she said something that blew my mind even more. She said, Mamu, bahut paisa kamayenge hum log. I thought she must have been some producer, some distributor who must have had 7-8 flops on road pe aa gayi. Mujhe aisa laga. I said, kya baat kar rahe? How, aapko kaise malum? Main black mein ticket bechti hu. मेरे को सब मालूम है कौन सी पिक्चर उठेगी कौन सी पिक्चर डूबेगी आपकी पिक्चर बहुत उठेगी हम लोग बहुत पैसा कमाएंगे आई कॉल अप राजू हिरन राजू डार्लिंग अपनी पिक्चर हिट हो गई कौन बोला ट्रेड गाइड बोला तरनर्स बोला ऐसे नहीं नहीं एक ब्लैक मार्केट की बात सुन रहा है तू डफर कैन यू बिलीव इट एंड स्ट्रेंजली द मूवी जस्ट पिक्ड अप इट रिलीज्ड last week 19 years ago last week can you believe it 19 years ago people still believe and love and it's for a lot of people I'm happy to say it's one of their favorite films of all time how after 19 years is this film your favorite because there's belief the nominations came out a week after that we got 10 nominations I was nominated too and 10 days later were the first awards right and Arshad Wasi said tomorrow bombs you're winning huh I said no nothing what are you wearing tomorrow you don't have a suit I said I don't have a suit what do you mean I get you a suit hello masculine Naresh bhai hello Naresh bhai kya hai एक सूट बनानी है 24 घंटे में नहीं मेरे पास बमन ईरानी करेगा आई डोंट नो एनी बमन ईरानी से वेरी गुड दीस ब्लडी फिल्मी पीपल आर यू नो दे चार्ज यू द अर्थ यू नो नहीं यू मस्ट वेयर अ सूट नो अब प्लीज बनाओ यार नॉमिनेट हुए कौन से पिक्चर के लिए मुन्ना भाई क्या किया उसने अरे वो डॉक्टर है ना अरे वो टकला अरे मैं बहुत बड़ा फैन है आई आल्सो हैप्पी राइट बहुत बड़ा मैं उसके लिए सूट बनाएगा अच्छा ओके मेजरमेंट्स आप भेजो टेलर को नहीं टाइम नहीं मेजरमेंट्स हाउ इज ही गोइंग टू मेक माय सूट विदाउट एनी मेजरमेंट्स हाउ इज ही गोइंग टू डू दैट सो ही सेड उसका हाइट क्या है हाइट 6'2" हाँ बना देगा सूट सॉरी मैं बना देगा सूट से क्या बात कर रहे हो आप उसको फोन दो सो आई टेक द फोन फ्रॉम अरशद मामू क्या है वेरी गुड कमाल का एक्टिंग है सुपर आपका सूट बन जाएगा अच्छा नहीं सर आई कैन मेजरमेंट मेरे को चाहिए आई एम पेइंग टॉप डॉलर आई एम सेइंग इन माय हेड आई वांट अ नाइस फिटिंग सूट आपका हाइट क्या है आई सेड हाउ कैन यू कीप आस्किंग मी दिस स्टूपिड क्वेश्चन इफ आई एम 6'2" आर यू गोइंग टू मेक द कॉलर ओवर हियर नो राइट मामू किसी को बताना नहीं मेरे घर में मुन्ना भाई का मेरे पास डीवीडी है मैं डीवीडी प्ले करूँगा ओके मैं डीवीडी प्ले करूँगा और आप जब आएंगे ना स्क्रीन पे फुल लेंथ में मैं पॉज करूँगा राइट फिर मैं जाके आपको टीवी पे ऐसा आपका हाइट लूँगा ओके तो आपका हाइट सपोज टीवी 10 इंच है आपका हाइट क्या है 6'2" तो 6'2" इज इक्विवेलेंट टू 10 इंचेस बाकी सब मैं रेशियो बना के वेट हाइट वाइट बना के कल भेजेगा मामू कैन यू इमेजिन Next day is the awards night. I'm standing in the dark under the stage. Who's going to give me a green room? Who is this guy? Doesn't matter. All those pattis are there, those lakde ka pattis under the stage. Imagine I'm standing under the stage. on a towel, waiting for my suit, and it's not arrived. And award after award is going by. And I'm saying, I'm going to miss this. My mom said, you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win. And I'm not even sitting in the front where they have 5 cameras when they announce the nominations. They come with those cameras and they stick it under your nose. And that's where actors do their best acting. You know that? You know this? When they lose, you know what they lose over the thing? Mera naam aayega, mera naam nahi aaya. They have to be gracious, right? So they say, he was better, yaar. Best worst acting. I can't even do that in case I lost. You know. So I'm sitting over there, and suddenly, like how in the pandemic, the vegetable guys would make noises. Eh, dudi, dudi. Same way, that guy came with my suit. Boman Irani, Boman. And I said, oh, I removed that towel. I started wearing my pants, started wearing my shirt, and Prem Chopra Saab comes on stage with Javed. And they're starting calling the nominations. And just as I'm ready, bated breath, and he announces my name. The best supporting actor goes to Boman Irani. And now I can't go all the way around. I have to run from behind from the service ramp. So there's a service ramp, right? And I run up with those slats, and I go up. Fully dusty. I fell twice. And then I said to myself, it's okay. You've been running all your life. You've fallen many times. The more you fall, the more successful you'll be. Stand up, dust yourself, move on, go collect your award, get the hell out of there. And I went and I collected my first award. Before I end, 2 or 3 little points. I went to New York some years ago, just before the pandemic actually, and I met an assistant of mine who used to assist me as a photographer, and he says, I'd like to take some photographs of you. So we did some photographs on the streets of New York. Wow. And I was so proud. He's doing very well for himself, Vikram Pathak. And he said, I said, Vikram, can you take pictures of me in the theater district? He said, yeah. So I went to the theater district, Broadway. I said, can you take me to the New Amsterdam Theater? I said, why the New Amsterdam Theater? I said, I don't know, I'd seen it in a movie called Funny Girl. He says, okay. Stand over there. I said, no, not here. Let's go behind. Let's go to the artist's entrance. And he shot lovely pictures of me standing behind the actor's artist's entrance. Just before the pandemic, I went to Oslo. And they gave me an award there, and they played a couple of my movies, and there were interviews happening, and there was this young lady who was doing an interview. So what's next for you? What about your directorial debut? You've been talking about it, whatnot. And I said, you know, the same old questions. And I just asked her, oh, which newspaper, which magazine do you represent? She said, Vigi. I said, really? She said, yeah. Why, what happened? I said, I'll give you a very nice story about a young photographer whose life you impacted. I can't tell you how life has its beautiful way of making its circles. You've got to pay your dues, like Sam Bhara said, right? You've got to pay your dues, right? Went to New York at Lexington Hotel once, and I feel embarrassed when people welcome you at a hotel with a bouquet of flowers, but there was the general manager there with a bouquet of flowers, and he gave me a bouquet of flowers, and I gave it back to him. I said, I can't accept a bouquet of flowers from you, Mr. Sam Bhara. Yeah? You gave me my first job, and you taught me my biggest lesson, and I will always be grateful to you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the rest of my story and my filmology you know better than I do. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you so much.
Big hand, ladies and gentlemen. What an inspiration. What an inspiration. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for making our day more and more special. Can we please request JP to please come on stage? A small token of appreciation, a small token of love from the team of HCCB.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time, please.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Mama, photo लो ना मफत में.
We have the backing track.
Oh,
Yeah, come
wow.
on, everyone, give it up.
Okay, this
That'll be
is.
so great.
Thank you, sir. Okay, guys. I don't know, something's gone wrong with my voice. It doesn't matter if my voice cracks. I'm with friends. Who cares? Yeah? All you gotta hold it, guys. One sec. As long as you do it truthfully, I believe in the song. And if I don't believe in the song, how are you going to believe in the song, right? So I want you to believe in this song only by. The singing isn't great, it's me. The music is beautiful. But I only request you to pay attention to every word. The lyrics are beautiful. It was made famous by Frank Sinatra. So give me a sip of water, please, Mohan. Everyone, say hi to Mohan. Follows me all over the world, yeah. He'd like a better applause than that. He's a big gas bag here. Okay. Whoever's on sound, sir, a little reverb on my mic to make my voice not sound so hoarse. Right? Hello? Reverb Mara? Yeah? And Nick, play it slightly, don't make it too loud, but not too soft either. Go for it. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, and saw it through without exemption. I've planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. Sing with me. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced the wall and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now this tears subside I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, oh no, not me. I did it what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has none to say the things he truly feels. And other words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the clothes and did it my way. The record shows I took the clothes and did it my way.
Wow.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a standing ovation.
3 cheers for this gentleman. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. So how many would like to have a picture with this gentleman?
One
Are
last
you ready
thing,
for it?
One last thing before I go. My mother passed at the age of 94 last year, all right? And no matter how old I was, even as a grandfather and as a child, every time I stepped out of the house to perform, she encouraged. She would, and I think it's a good thing to advise our teammates, since, you know, together we are stronger. And she would say, sparkle, son, sparkle. I think it's good to encourage each other as team members. When I leave, she would ask me, where are you going, which company, what not, who's the studio with her. When I go back, she would ask me the full account all over again. Did you sing the song? Or did you speak about this? Did you speak about Munawai? Did you speak about that? That was boxing. And then she'd ask me 2 questions, and this is the last takeaway of it all. 2 questions. First question she would ask, did they show you love? And I'd say yes. And the second question would be, did they show you respect? And I'll say yes. That's all there is to it. And I want to thank you all for allowing me to tell my mother that you showed me love and you showed me respect.